Sasha was fucking feral. Understanding love aggression. What is love aggression? Like, oh, I just love it. Oh, it really is, isn't it?
I'm not into it.
That was just a practice round.
Go on then.
3, 2, 1. Oh, it keeps doing it. Maybe I was too heavy.
Just do it a little bit gentler.
Okay.
Is gentler a word?
More gentle.
More gentle. Welcome to Spill, the podcast we wish we'd had when we were growing up.
Some very candid conversations on life in your 20s and 30s, the ups and downs, and the messiest parts.
But essentially we just chat pure shit.
So welcome to the chaos.
Spilling Billy. Should we light the candle?
People have really adopted that.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
It's cute, I like it.
It's a jingle now.
What's going to be your one, though?
Sashy pants.
You do really like the sashy pants.
I do like sashy pants, yeah. One of Bill's friends has come up with a nickname for me called Sashy Pants, and I really enjoy it. I am actually sat like a demure lady today. I've decided that I want
Very demure.
Very demure. Very mindful.
Do you think that you're very demure?
No, not at all.
We've just had a convo, though, that Sasha is going to reduce the swearage
It's not
on
good.
this epi.
I do just swear too much. I would love to just be a lady. You know, like women.
Would you, though?
Nah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think it would really suit you to be a lady.
I mean, I can be.
When?
No, I can be a lady sometimes.
When?
Just sometimes.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Well, I like wearing heels and shit.
Oh, you do dressed up very well, but I still wouldn't call you a lady.
Yeah.
Sorry, Daisy has a footage of you in heels where you're like, we're not even getting into it.
No, can I just say that watching that footage back was just like so confronting, because obviously I vlog, right? So I'm in front of the camera a lot and I'll vlog my day to day often. Seeing what Daisy captured BTS when I'm not thinking about the camera, the word chaos doesn't even cut it.
Oh, also I was just Jigglypuff in the background of all of that video.
What's Jigglypuff?
You know that Pokemon that's just like a little Jigglypuff? Like, you're just having multiple breakdowns in that video, and I'm just like watching this unfold. Like, how can I fix this situation?
My favourite
like,
thing.
The Dyson Airfryer? This? Oh, what are you doing with your hair? Oh, you just cut your dress open. Okay, cool. What
My favourite thing was when you said, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? It was good.
Because you kept telling me to cut your dress, and I kept saying, we need to unpick the stitches, otherwise there is going to be a gaping hole. You went, nah, just cut it.
My favourite bit was when you were actually stabbing me with the end of the scissors, and I told you were stabbing me, but you didn't do anything about it. In fact, you carried on going in.
Well, there was no space for them to go anywhere else.
Your worst job would be a surgeon. Don't you think?
No, look how steady my hand is.
I got really steady hand too. We've had match this morning.
I do have very heavy hands, so yeah, I'd probably nick that artery.
What would be your least, worst job ever for you? What do you think it would be?
What, in terms of my skill set and what I'd be really bad at?
Yeah.
It's hard because I'm really good at everything.
I knew that was coming. I know it's going to be a tough one for you to think.
What would I be really bad at? Like a long distance runner? I'll make it 10 metres.
Is that it? Is that all you can think of?
Yeah, I'm pretty good at everything else.
I would be the worst maths teacher.
Yeah, but you would be a really good drama teacher.
Nope. I just really don't like kids enough to teach. One of my friends is a primary school teacher, reception teacher. Yeah.
Do you learn anything in reception?
Listen, the things that she has to do.
Yeah,
she
I
told me
believe it.
this time, right? She put in the group chat, girls, do you think I'm off my head for taking 20 kids to Barry Island on the train?
What's Barry Island?
It's a place in Wales.
You said it so well.
That's where Gavin and Stacey is filmed.
Barry Island.
Barry Island. You been there, have you?
No.
Well, she put that in the group, and I just replied, Cole, are you taking on your own 20 children on the train?
By herself?
I don't know if it was 20 kids, but it was a lot. It was more than 3. That's loads.
Poetic license added to the story, didn't it?
Yeah. What does that mean?
Exactly what I just said.
Oh, salt and pepper to a sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like,
I need to get one of those leads, where they're all, like huskies on a sled.
Yeah. I was like,
that.
and is that part of your job? As in, that's part of what you get paid for? She was like, yeah. I was like, you don't get paid enough. There's just no way. I don't know what she gets paid, but it ain't enough.
I actually really wanted to be a teacher. I did teach English as a foreign language.
Did you?
Yeah, I wanted to be a teacher.
That's what DB's doing.
When I left, yeah, I know we've talked about it.
I think you'd be a good teacher.
I finished it, and then I really wanted to go to France or Italy and do it, and that's when Mum got sick, so I didn't do it. Yeah.
Your tolerance is high. That's why you'd be a good teacher. Do your your spill of the week? 'Cause you got a really exciting one.
I launched Club Squash this week, which
Round of applause.
Am I allowed to clap myself?
Yeah, of course.
Which has been so exciting and something that I've worked on for ages. And it's basically a community to bring people together to enjoy movement, exercise, sport, fitness, everything in the well-being world in a safe and welcoming space, because a lot of that world is neither safe nor welcoming.
Very proud of you for that.
Thanks.
What made you want to start Club Squash?
Because I used to shit my pants every time I walked into the gym and into a class, and I was like, this is horrendous, isn't it? Like, it's the one place when you're overweight, you're told, oh, you need to lose weight. You need to do that by exercising more, eating less. But like, how do you enter that space when you feel so uninvited? And beyond that, like, I found that, because obviously I used to be an athlete and then lost that in the middle bit of life. And now I've come back to being a full-time athlete. And what it does for your mental health is unreal. Like, everybody should be able to feel the benefits of that and should be allowed to do it without feeling like they're not welcome in that space. So I want to make a space where everybody can enjoy it.
I really feel like you're onto something, you know?
Hope so.
What's your big squash dream? Club Squash dream?
I would love to do like collaborations with brands that have been like traditionally very uninviting to a lot of different types of bodies. Like, I went to, not to make it my entire personality, but I will. I went to Barry's bootcamp class on Monday. And it is petrifying. Like, you stand outside the room where you go into the class, and I went with Shaz, who is like, she's just a machine in those classes. Like, she's unbelievable.
Is she
she's
fit?
so fit. Oh my God, her fitness levels are outrageous,
Whoa,
and she's
jealous.
so strong. And I was stood outside the class like this. She was like, what are you doing? She's like, literally look like you're about to, like, you being lined up to be executed. And I was like, that's how I feel. Like, everyone's in there in like a matching, like, tiny little set with like 24 abs. And, you know, they just look like people that are just wildly fit. And I'm the only person in the entire class that wore a t-shirt.
Above a size 10.
Oh, yeah, I'm that. And I was like, wouldn't it be cool if we had a Club Squash like Barry's class where Club Squash members could come and, like, it's a great class. You feel brilliant after it. But the lead up to it and like physically entering that space that feels like, woof, that's just not for me, would count me out immediately. And I've only gone because I've gone with friends who have been like, come on, I'll hold your hand. I'll go on the bench next to you. I'll pep you up. And I'm lucky I've got friends that do that. But what if you don't have a community around you to do that? So I want to create it.
Is that the biggest of the dreams, though? Because I'm thinking like Club Squash gyms.
Oh, I never actually thought about a physical space.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love that.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
Like, you know how much
and everybody obviously in the merch.
Yeah. Like, Soho House vibe, but for Club Squash, I should just be your business manager. Do you want to pay me for that? Do you want to hire me?
10p?
No. Don't you think, though, that would be like an actual...
like a physical club?
A physical community, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, imagine then we could do retreats, like Club Squash retreats, and you could go on, you would do a hiking, we could do like yoga, but like yoga that everybody can do, not like, hey, get into this like pretzel position. You're like,
long man.
Sorry, I've got
They want
rolls.
you to do like headstand on day one.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm really proud of you and I see big things for it.
Thanks. I'm really
Well
excited.
done. And the best thing about this community that you're building is that you can talk about racket sports and no one's going to get bored.
No, they'll want more.
Yeah.
I just have to talk about it with you. I love the branding. I'm really like so pleased with the branding.
Yeah,
I worked
it's
with this
very, very you.
amazing girl called Sophie.
Yeah,
and she was epic, and yeah, it was really fun to do. And I feel like, I think the most proud of myself I feel for this project is that I actually did it, because I'm so good at talking about all the shit I want to do.
Yeah.
But I don't convert any of it. And then I'm like, oh, we did that.
Yeah.
So,
and it's just a start.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm excited.
Yippee.
Go on then, hit me with yours.
Mine's not a proud achievement, but it is a funny story that I, like, literally as it was happening, I thought I'm saving it for the pod.
Go on.
So, you know that I've been obsessed with my mouth tape.
I think everybody knows you're obsessed with your mouth tape now.
And let me just put it here. I still have not slept a day without my mouth tape since the day I tried it.
How many days is that now?
I don't know, like 3 packets.
The context of that is 0 to anyone who's used mouth tape. That's like saying, oh, I'm really proud I've got through 3 tubes of what? At what length? Over what period of time?
You know I can't count, so I wouldn't know.
A couple of months?
Yeah, a couple of months.
Yeah.
But the other day, I fell out of bed.
Well, I've not done that for a good, 30 years.
So I sleep with because I sleep next to DB, this is a different type of sleeping. If I lived in a house on my own, like, and slept there on my own, I wouldn't be able to have my earplugs in. But because he's next to me, I'm like, well, if anything's going to happen, he's got to hear it first. Like,
Also, you've got the boys.
yeah, get into your masculine, all three of you. So I put my earplugs in, my mouth tape on, but for some reason, this particular night, one of my earplugs had fallen out, and he looks like he's caught the plague next to me and sounds like it as well. So I woke up. So I was like, oh, fuck, like pitch black trying to find my earplugs like this. And I was like, could I just go back to sleep with one in? Like, it'll be fine. Try to sleep. Nah, I'm just going to have to find it.
Back in your, like, Tutankhamun.
Yeah, on my back, like, spine alignment, mouth tape on, going into my different realm. And I was like, I'm going to have to find my earplug. So I'd committed to getting up to find it, either feeling around or getting my phone and putting the light torch on. So with full commitment, I swing my right leg out, forgetting that my washing basket has just clearly been placed there because I couldn't be asked to put it where it actually goes. And rather than my foot hitting the floor, my laminate, like, slippy floor, it hit the base of the empty washing basket. I went fucking tumbling, right? But the thing is, there's no sound because I've got my mouth tape on. Right?
So what, you just...
So I... No noise, Bills. There was no noise at all. So I literally, like, catapulted out of bed. Everything went everywhere. DB shoots out of bed so fast, he hits the ceiling on the way down. He's like, babe, oh my God, are you okay? Oh my God, are you okay? And still no noise.
You know what this is giving? I feel like this is giving kidnappers, like, a really good tool to use to get, like,
well, they
kidnap
already do
people.
mouth tape you, dickhead.
Yeah, but, like, now you can just get it at Boots.
Well, no, because if you're being kidnapped, you're like, for some reason, I was just, I don't know, maybe the breath
like,
work.
no noise came out?
No noise came out. Like, the breath work was, I'm so calm because I'm breathing through my nose. So I literally, like, the side table went everywhere. I'm on the floor. Like, he's come round to pick me up out of bed and he's like, talk to me. Are you okay? I'm like, just silent with this mouth tape on.
And the mouth tape stayed on under all that drama.
Yeah, and it was just the most bizarre thing, but it was just hysterical. Like, by the time we got back into bed, it was like 3:00 in the morning and we'd been, like, sort of led there in silence. You know that bit when you're going to, like, fall back to sleep? And he just went, do you remember when you fell out of bed? It was fucking hysterical.
Riddle me this with the mouth tape, right? You obviously use a fresh piece every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just the thought of, like, sticking something back on your face made me feel a bit sick.
No, it could never be me. Is that environmentally friendly? Probably not.
What's it made from?
It feels like plaster tape.
Like, if you cut yourself plaster?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it biodegrades at some point, but...
My friend messaged me the other day. He was like, does it rip your moustache off every night? I was like, that's rude. That was Tom. Prick.
No, we love Tom. He can say no
Yeah,
wrong.
we do love Tom. So yeah, I literally in the whole midst of it happening, like middle of the night on the floor with my mouth tape on in silence, I thought, saving this for the pod. Hysterical.
Good job, well done.
Yeah.
So your spill of the week is that you fell out of bed.
Yep.
How's adulthood treating you?
Don't forget to subscribe.
Don't be shy now.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Is that right? Something like that. Chris, do you want to do it?
Just do it.
I don't like
Chris a bit bossy today.
Tired.
Right. Please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I thought that was quite good.
Is that all we need to say?
Is this what you want it for? YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Bit of giggling.
No, Jen,
I've
click
gone
subscribe
shy.
because the more numbers, the better we can make all of this. Click subscribe right now. Right now. I'm liking this chair. The little bit of swings.
I don't think you should get too
comfortable.
comfortable though, because I have got a bit of FOMO that you're in that chair.
Yeah, also, you've had your good side for the whole thing.
I don't have any bad sides.
I'm loving your confidence today. No, I like it.
It's because I wash my hair.
Yeah. What are we talking about today?
Today, I when I've listened back to the episodes, I think I say the same thing every week. Like, oh, we've got a juicy episode for you this week.
I'm taking my shoes off. Can't be asked. Being a lady is... how long did it last? 13 minutes. Is that it? Been a lady for 13 minutes. I got cramp up my fucking thigh.
From what?
Crossing this leg.
Just sit
that's
on
the
them.
thing. Like, really...
Can you take that shoe off my boot clay, please? Put it on your thigh.
The shoes are coming off. The legs are coming up crossed. All right, everyone? Oh, God. It does feel good.
See how she's just kicked that shoe everywhere, right? If I had done that, the scene you would have seen Those fucking shoes everywhere. Couldn't even put them in nicely.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Do you want to move those, darling?
I'm ready for the chat now. Come on, let's go.
Come on, move these grotty Converse.
They're not grotty. They're a classic.
Doesn't make them any less grotty.
Okay, I'm ready.
So what is this episode about? We're actually going to talk about friendship breakups in this episode, and I feel like I'm saying that in a very somber tone. You know, like if this was in a film, it'd go like black and white at this point, and there'd be like a dramatic tear rolling down my cheek.
Like a song, yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, to be fair, they are rough.
I think it's something we've both experienced, and it's something I don't think I ever thought I would experience, because you just think your mates are forever, don't you? But adulthood shows you different.
Nothing's forever. That's what they say, isn't it? Nothing lasts forever.
I know, but I don't know if I wanted to hear that.
Is that not true?
Just like to live in Delulu land.
What lasts forever? Nothing.
Yeah, sometimes
Your
your
Delulu lasts
practicality
forever.
is yeah, forever and ever, to infinity and beyond. That Delulu is lasting. But yeah, we really want to discuss kind of the life and death of friendships, and like the heartbreak that you can experience when friendships end unexpectedly, when they end badly, when they end without either of you realizing. Like there's a kind of a full spectrum of the friendship breakup. And funny enough, I was talking to Jules last night about it. So for context, I'm living with two of my best friends, Julian and Alex, and he could see that me and you were like voice noting each other last night, and he has said, have you and Sasha have you ever fallen out? Have you ever like had a big argument? I was like, never. I mean, I think we've tested each other this week when we've been talking about spill merch.
Yeah.
But we've never had a big breakup or a big bust up even.
No, the only thing we have had is a gap where we weren't that close, and that was when you were at uni, wasn't it?
When I was at uni, and I think a little bit after, when I moved to London.
And I was still at drama school.
No, you'd left. I think you were working for Mac then.
Oh.
But it was before you came to London.
Right.
In that period. And I remember really vividly, you would text me a lot, and if I didn't reply, you'd follow up with a really aggy, why not text me back?
That probably would have been in the time zone where I lost a lot of friends.
Possibly. And then if I didn't reply to that one, like 2 hours later, you never text me anymore. I'm like, I literally texted you this morning.
You the way you dramatise situations is actually like so impressive.
I learned it from you.
Yeah, fucking hell. That was a period of what, like maybe 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, probably about 4 years.
And prior to that, I would say that we were like, our friendship is more like a sibling friendship.
Very much so, yeah.
Like a traditional sibling friendship, I would say.
Do you think of me as the big sister?
I do think of you as a sister. Like my friendship with you is of a sisterly kind of friendship.
Yeah, but it's weird, isn't it? Because I don't think of you as a big or a little sister, just a sister.
Yeah, I don't think you view as you're not like a bigger, wiser sister.
What? You're trying to say I'm not wise?
You are wise sometimes, but like you're not.
Most of the time, Delulu.
Yeah.
Fair.
You don't give big sister vibes to me.
That's because I'm not I'm big sister to my little brother, but like he doesn't really need that much from me.
Yeah. So me and you will bicker about stuff.
Constantly.
But it will resolve itself as quick as we'll bicker. Like for instance, Bill's talking about spill merch, right? We've been arguing about fonts all week. So it's like non-important stuff. Billy wants a shit font. I want a good font. And that's the argument.
I would say it's the other way around.
She's like, oh, I'd love it if it looked like it was hand-stitched. Yeah.
I said that's one option. And then, don't even get me riled.
And I was like, that's Choogs.
Oh, you're Choogy.
So like, that's how we would bicker. But in terms of like actually breaking up, I think the reason why it's so important to talk about this is because when you say, oh, I'm going through a breakup, you immediately think of a romantic setting.
Yeah.
And people put that on some sort of pedestal as the worst pain you can ever feel. Whereas like, you know, the crux of a breakup is grief, right? You're grieving for like something that you've lost. So that pain can come in loads of different ways. So if you've had a really close or a really intense friendship with someone and that is no longer there, that could be more painful than a breakup of a romantic one, or like, you know.
I don't think it has to be like one or the other. I just think that both of them are painful, and like we've talked about this, friendships are some of the biggest loves of your life. Like I think I genuinely think my bestest mates are my soulmates. Like I couldn't live without them.
Yeah.
And if there came a day where they were like, actually this friendship isn't serving me anymore, I need to like cut ties, I would be heartbroken as I would be if someone was like, I don't love you anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I say it to mum because I know we spoke about it on another episode, but obviously mum's currently single and she's like 62. And sometimes when she gets sort of like in her head about it and, you know, wants to be in a relationship or whatever, I say to her, think about all of the people who are in, you know, unhappy relationships and don't have any friends, and you look at the friendships she has. Her friends have been in her life like since she was 5. She has got such incredible friendships.
The 3, her, Sally Ann,
Jane, Sally Ann. She's got loads of like amazing friends.
But they are. You can read that almost immediately how special that trio is.
Yeah.
Especially when they get up and do their little performance.
I know, they're like those mums out of Mamma Mia.
And is it First Wives Club?
I don't know what that is.
What's that film where the "You Don't Own Me" song comes from?
Boys,
No?
do you know that?
Is it First Wives Club?
I've never heard of that.
I'll look it up, I'll find it.
But yeah, and I say to her, like, look at the loves you have there. Sometimes I think it's no wonder you're not with someone because that's what they're competing with. Like, they would have to compete with that level of love to warrant being in your life in that way. And I do struggle with that concept of people not having that friend, like, because not everybody has friendships like, you know, like we do. I know I have very, very intense friendships. So all of my best friends, like, they are my bestest friends.
You don't have a huge friendship group.
I don't have any groups.
Yeah.
Oh, the drama lot.
Yeah. Fucking rockin'.
No, it's not that anymore.
Oh, I liked that name.
Yeah, it was a good one. But no, I don't have, but they're not a girl group. Like, that's just like little chit chat. But in terms of like groups of friends, I've never had that since school.
So your friends like all individual friendships?
Yeah.
Is that hard to manage though? Because like then you need quality time with all of them individually.
Depends how you like see it. Hard to manage, no, because I want to have those friendships. Hard to manage logistically because they live all over the place and we've got to spend quality time together, yeah. But I would say that all of my best friends, we have such a clear understanding of like what's required of each other. Like, we don't need to speak every week or text every day but like that, it's just a knowing that that's there. Like, they're London, they're up north.
It should be easy.
And I don't think I'm a group girl. I don't think I could do that. Logistics of group friendships.
I feel like I've had so many groups of friends.
Yeah, you have got loads.
Yeah, and I do really pride myself on like how, not even just like the quantity of friends I have, but like how much I love my friends and how much they love me. Like it is, and I think that comes from cultivating it over such a long period of time of being single, where like I didn't have another person to put that affection and love into, so I did really put that into my friends.
Yeah,
I feel like I did reap a lot of reward from that because you become closer. You don't necessarily need to do it that way. That's just the way that I did. So when those friendships break or like by whatever circumstances they drift, there is like a sadness to it because that person has been part of your life for either a long time or for like a really formative time.
Have you had a friendship breakup?
I think I've had a few, yeah. And I didn't ever think I would because I was like, and this is, you know, when your parents like say something to you and it just really sticks in your head. Like when I was younger, they were like, oh, Billie, she's an all-rounder. And obviously I like wanted to stamp that on my fucking forehead. But
you have, haven't you? I can see it.
Underneath, yeah.
Good at everything.
Beauty Pie foundation is just quite strong. But the other thing they've always said is like, oh, you've got great friends. You've got great friendships. You're a really good, like, and I honestly think it's Baz's biggest pride about me is that I've got really great mates.
Do you know what's so interesting about that? What you just said about your parents like sticking things in your head. I remember so vividly my dad saying to me, you can tell a lot about a person by the friends that surround them.
I think you can.
Yeah, 100%.
And I feel like, especially in our industry where there's a lot of like, not necessarily falsity, but there is on a level of like, it's just can be quite surface. I don't think it's like false friendship, but it's very like transactional surface friendship. And what I feel incredibly lucky to have had in the like fashion beauty magazine industry is to have cultivated like a mega group of mates that are some of my closest friends in the world.
Yeah.
And I really never thought I would, because I was like, oh God, who's going to be like me here? Like nobody. Actually, there's some right freaks and geeks in there too that we all banded together. So yeah, I've like enjoyed being part of part of groups. And like at university, I lived with 8 girls and we had a house of 6 boys opposite, and we were all very much like being part of a group was like such a big identity. And now like that's one group, and I still adore them. Like there's still people I still speak to occasionally, but not as frequently as I would want. But that group is like, I've drifted from them, and it wasn't purposeful. It just kind of was logistics that they all lived much closer to each other in London, but they all lived close to each other, so they would see each other more. And then there was a couple of occasions where I was like, because I'd missed out on so many of the like group whatevers, I didn't really feel like part of it. Like they would have conversations, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, or like I wasn't there for that, or I don't know. And so I kind of started to feel like a little bit isolated. And then I think there was just a natural like drift. And part of me is like, oh, that's so normal, like get over it. And the other part's like, yeah, but like you lived with these people for years. Like how could you not be friends with them? And I remember when we were at uni, we lived in each other's pockets. Like you are so close. But more than that, like you hear you like hear adults at the time being like, oh, you know, enjoy this, because there will be a time where like you only really see each other 2 or 3 times a year. And we were like, that'll never be us, never. Like we'll also see each other every week, at least once a week. But we don't, because like
no. As if we've hit that as in our 30s.
Yeah.
A lot of my best friends I'll see once or twice a year.
Is that not really devastating to you?
No, because like everyone has their lives to live, and like there's only so much that can be done. Like who lives, you know, wait, let me change, I don't want to say her name. Our friendship is just, it's probably my easiest friendship ever. Like we could go maybe 4 or 5 weeks without even so much of a text exchange or a meme sent or something. And then she'll FaceTime me or be on the phone for 3 hours.
Cute.
Yeah. And like I'm going out to see her soon, and like we'll have it overnight, and like I'm meeting her new baby, and there's nothing required from either of us to maintain that level of best friendship.
Yeah.
Like,
it's so lovely when you find those people.
Yeah, and all of my friendships are like that. Like Steph, for instance, me and Steph talk all the time, like nearly every day. And I probably still only see her once or twice a year. And she lives in London, but like circumstances mean that I don't see her that much. All of my friends are like that. They're all really individual, but they're intense. But the intensity doesn't come from how often I see them or how much time I spend with them. So do you want to talk about a friendship breakup you've had or not?
Yeah. There's one that's like, it's sad, but nobody did anything wrong. And also like we are still friends. It is a breakup in the sense that we don't see or speak to each other really anymore, but I still love her so much. She's still one of the greatest humans I've ever met. She's still a wonderful person, a great friend, but like our lives, the breakup was our lives looked so different. She got married, she moved out of London, she started a family earlier than like the rest of my friends were doing it. And she was a friend from school and is just like so pure. You could never say a bad word about her. She's an angel. But our lives started to look really different. We used to live together in London. They started to look really different. Like she just liked a really wholesome, lovely life, and that really suited her, and that she thrived in that environment. And I was like, I want to go out till 3 a.m. And so our lives looked different. And so our friendship kind of became a bit different. And when she moved out of London, we just didn't stay in touch as much as I think either of us may have wanted or would have hoped. But it's kind of just like the circumstances that just happened.
But would you say that's a friendship breakup?
I would, because like it went from being
intense to not.
I've been friends with her since I was 13. We lived together for 5 years, and like in really formative years. And it wasn't like I don't think it's like, this is it, we have chosen to break up. Like we might text each other like once or twice a year, but I think it's more like a friendship lost as opposed to a friendship broken up.
Yeah.
And they're quite, it's quite confronting because you're like, was I a shit friend? Should I have tried harder? Should I have done this? Like, would, if I had like behaved differently, would that person still be close? Would that like mean I was still part of that other group that still did stuff? And like, sometimes when you see, like, the problem is you also see everyone's lives on social media. So you feel like you're close to someone even when you're not, or even when you haven't spoken. And then when I see like other people doing stuff, I'm like, oh, NFI'd.
Do you miss that friendship? Or are you like at peace with where
I think
it
I'm
is
at
now?
peace
Yeah.
with it. I like, if we saw each other now, I'd be so lush, but like, I don't think either of us would be that proactive about it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just like, it existed for a period of time and it was like great for that period. And then it sort of rolls to a steady end.
Yeah. I remember feeling quite a lot of shame for how many friendships I've broken up.
Really?
Yeah. And I remember thinking like exactly what you said. I'm a shit friend and I'm a horrible person because I've, you know, somewhat removed that person from my life or taken a step back or put up boundaries whereby they don't get access to me in the same way that they used to. And I remember carrying shame for that, thinking that I was a bad person for it. Whereas now, all I have to do is look at the friendships I have in my life and it makes sense to me why younger Sasha felt that way and like why younger Sasha, even just 2 years ago, moved away from those friendships.
What was it that triggered you to, because I feel like you chose to leave friendships or did you feel like that they chose to leave you?
I think I've chosen to leave friendships.
How do you do that?
I think it depends. I think when I look back at younger situations, maybe in hindsight, I would now deal with them differently. I've only ever had one argumentative friendship breakup. And that was, I felt like we were both very unable to see anything from each other's point of view.
Yeah.
And it was just never going to work. Like it was never going to match up. And that friendship prior to that was very, very intense. We were like inseparable, talked all day, spent all the time together.
Sometimes that is a bit of a red flag in friendships though, isn't it? Yeah.
They say it's like similar to like a toxic boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I do think that there was quite a lot that was maybe like alarming with the intensity of how sort of often we were in each other's lives. So that friendship was probably the most dramatic. But the other friendships that I've sort of like removed myself from came from when I split up with my husband. Like they were starting to shift before throughout the wedding.
Were they mutual friends? No, they were your friends.
There was like a mixture.
Okay.
Like they had their own friendship and I was individually friends with them as well. And they were actually was probably my smallest group friends. There was like 3 of us. They were the friendships that I stepped away from and I did put walls up and I was like, you don't get access to that anymore. And
that's really fucking brave.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think like, I just think there's nothing wrong with becoming and evolving as a person and not matching that other person anymore.
Yeah.
And for me, up until that point in my life, that was just the hardest thing that I had to go through. And to have not had support in any way and to have sort of, I heard stories and I heard a bit of like bitching and it all felt very much like back at the school playground. And what I think was the final straw for me was that I didn't feel like those friendships were friendships that I could call them up and say, this is what I've heard, you know, is this true or is this how you really feel?
Oh my God, that level of confrontation.
I don't think it's confrontation. I think it's communication. But that's the thing. Because I felt like I couldn't do that to them, it kind of like said more than I needed it to say.
Yeah.
And like, you know, if any of those people that I've walked away from in my life, if I crossed them in the street, I would say hello. Or if there was an opportunity to say, hi, how are you? I would. I think like, you know, one of them wouldn't say hello back. But that's fine. That doesn't make me feel any different about the situation.
You also have to live to your own standard in that environment. I think that's what like, that it doesn't have to be hostile. Like, yeah, friendships can end, but like if you're like, the way that I would behave in this situation is to still say hi, hello, how are you?
Yeah.
I think that's almost the bigger takeaway from the whole thing is like live to your live to your standard, and when that person isn't serving you or that friendship isn't serving you, what is the point in enduring that?
And the thing is with me as well, it is a bit of a Capricorn trait, but like I love so fiercely and I will give everything. And the minute you do something that is like, I can forgive, but if you're not able to hold your hands up and say, I am sorry for X, Y, Z, I'm out. Close book. I'm done.
Accountability is key.
Yeah. Whereas, you know, like if I look at my relationship in terms of a friendship, because we did start off as friends, and I do consider him, you know, one of my best friends. If we have an argument, I'm with someone now who will look up and say, oh, I'm really sorry. And like that's what I would be like if I'd wronged someone, or if I was out of line, I would ring you up and I'd be like, Bills, I'm really sorry I did that. So if someone else isn't matching that, then you're naturally just like on different wavelengths, and that does affect a relationship or a friendship. And I think that's okay. But the pain you feel from a friendship breakup can be horrible.
Horrible.
Like, really, really bad. And that dramatic friendship, oh my God, I remember so vividly, like she was having a baby, and I you know, it was like planned that I was going to be such a huge part of this baby's life because of how close we were. And like finding out that the baby had been born and stuff like that, the heartbreak I felt was, you know, not too far behind the heartbreaks I felt romantically. It was very, very intense. Absolutely at peace with it all now. But just in that moment at that time, I definitely felt that pain in the same way that I have romantically.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's spoken about enough, like how painful it is.
I think you're right though. I think it's shrouded in shame because, you know, like no one. It's so much easier to like point blame in a romantic breakup, like, well, you know, they did this and that was incompatible with me, or like they cheated, or they treated me badly, or they like whatever. Like, I don't know. It feels like you're talking about two different people and not being compatible in a romantic way. So it seems like easier to like swallow that as a breakup.
Yeah.
Whereas with friends, it's still the same concept. It's still two people connecting and having chemistry and having compatibility on everything but sex, essentially.
Yeah.
So it is, if you remove all of that, that's still going to be a painful experience. Loss. The older you get, the more value you put on those friends. One of my bestest friends, Cat Pikett. Oh, how do you say her name?
Cat
Pikett. She saved my phone as Cherub because she is an actual cherub. She is, if I could explain her to other people, she's like Miss Honey from Matilda.
Yeah,
like she is pure, sweet, angel, kind, caring. Like she's incapable of doing bad things. And I obviously am very capable because hardcore brat. And we live together. And I remember we met at Elle, and she just looked so cute. And maybe this was how you felt when we became friends. I was like, I just have to be friends with her. And she would always be the first person in the office. And we hot desk. And I remember I was like, I'm going to go sit next to Cat Pikett today. Well, she actually Cat Pikett then, she wasn't married. And I'm going to make her my mate. And we did become friends. And then after a couple of months, I was like, my housemate's actually moving out. And she was commuting at that point from Newark down to London every day. And I was like, do you want to come and have a look at the house and like think about moving in? Like, we get on really well. Anyway, because I am the official Richmond PR, I gave her the great tour and she was like, yeah, I want to live here. And we ended up living together, and we had the best time together. Like, I'm godmum to her second son, Digby. Like, we don't speak as often as we can because we both have lives going on. But I remember so vividly, we had one fight. It was all me. The whole thing was obviously all me because she's an angel.
We love an accountability.
We were, I was just in a really like snarky mood, which in my defense, that happens very rarely. But we fought over what film to watch on a Sunday night.
It's never about the problem.
It's never about the problem. I was just like probably feeling a bit shit, feeling a bit low. Like I think she'd said she wanted to watch Harry Potter, and I said I wanted to watch something else. And
10 Things I Hate About You.
No, I actually think it was League Their Own.
Oh,
which is one of the greatest films of all time.
Sport film?
Yeah.
Obviously.
It's about baseball. And anyway, I was awful. I like slammed a door and was just really like, I can't even remember what the fight was actually about. And I remember going up to my room being like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, what have I done? I was hysterical. I was like sobbing in my room, like, I cannot believe I've just been that nasty to and by that nasty, I mean, basically just said I don't want to watch that film and slammed the door. And I was beside myself that like, I was like, oh my God, she's never going to want to be my friend again. We've actually put a blanket ban on ever talking about this. So Kat, I'm so sorry that I brought it up because it makes me feel sick when I think about it. Sick, the fact that like my bad behavior in that instance could have ruined like one of the greatest friendships I've ever had.
Oh, but I think it's such a steep expectation to put on yourself that you lose it once and that's enough to break up a friendship. Like,
but like the panic of thinking
that
oh my God,
jeopardize.
I'm gonna lose this. I'm gonna break this. And I remember calling my mum and she was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because I couldn't even breathe.
How did that get resolved?
She came into my room, like, because I was so desperate to go and say sorry, but I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know how to do that. I just don't know what to do. And she came to my room and then she was like, my parents say you should never go to bed angry. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm such an awful person. And we went on a walk up to the roebuck and had a Diet Coke and came back
and
home.
It was fine.
Gave each other a cuddle and went to bed. Of course it was fine. You know what I think about a lot when I die? I think about this as if I was in a car accident and then they're like, what underwear did I have on when they cut you open?
I can tell you for absolute free, that is the least of my problems.
Well, I've seen your underwear. It is a problem.
Me and Shelbs had I can't remember how long the break was. It was 8 years. We had an 8-year break in our friendship. So
wow, I don't think I knew it was that long.
Yeah. So when me and Shelbs
is that when she went travelling or she was still here?
She went and lived in New Zealand.
Right.
So we met when we were 11 at school. We were inseparable, me, her and Chesk. And again, like her and Chesk had their own friendship, me and Chesk had our own friendship, and then the three of us also, right up until we were 22. I remember meeting my ex-husband and introducing him to Shelbs, and Shelbs was leaving the week after. And we still to this day don't know why we fell out and got to a stage where we'd like...
But was there a fallout or was it just a drift?
I don't think it was a fallout. I think it was a drift, and like we had different expectations on maybe communication at that time. We needed different things in terms of communication at that time. Like, I think I really struggled with her going and being that far away and like the time difference and, you know, to maintain a friendship across the other side of the world on essentially a 24-hour different clock, like it was hard. And then the way that we came back into each other's lives was Chet told me she was moving back to the UK and I just couldn't stop thinking about it. I was like, I can't not reach out. And I thought something really bizarre happened. Like, I'd seen a picture on Instagram of this flower and then went on Shelb's. Yeah, that was it. I'd seen this picture on my feed of this flower and went on Shelb's Instagram for a stalk because I knew she was coming back and I just couldn't stop thinking about it. And she just posted a photo of this holiday she'd been on and it was the same flower. I can't remember what it was, but it was like the same colour, the same flower. So I sent her a DM. And I was like, I've heard you're moving back to the UK. I just want to say that, like, I would love to see you. And she sent me back this message. She was like, I cannot tell you how many times I've hovered over sending this message. Like, I've been dreaming about you, like, not in a weird way, but like I've had dreams where, you know, we're friends again and we've spoken. And she came, I remember when we met, it was November 22. And we were brought back into each other's lives at that time, literally saved each other. And she was there in the house literally through that sort of fresh divorce.
Saving Grace.
Yeah, she is. And she's called Shelby Grace as well. So I call her my Saving Grace.
Yeah, no, I got that.
And now like, yeah, but for the listeness, for the visual listeners, as JJ picked up.
The visual
He was like, you're so fucking thick. Like, what's a visual listener? And I thought about it. I was like, yeah, fair comment. But we were inseparable. Like, we really crutched each other up through that time. We lived together. We moved in together. That didn't work. And that nearly tested things beyond.
Sometimes you're not meant to live with your mates.
Me and Shelb aren't meant to live together. We had so much fun. But as soon as the novelty wore off and we were both in the thick of stressful life, like, the timing was off and it was fine. But to be able to have gone through all of that with a friendship, it then also proves to me that, like, the friendships I've removed myself from because I felt like, you know, they weren't serving me or I was heartbroken by things they did or said. And I felt so much shame around it. I look at my situation with me and Shelbs and I'm like, I'm so at peace with those friendships not being what they are now because, like, it shows me I am capable of going through something where, you know, me and Shelbs had loads of disagreements, loads of really difficult conversations, loads of, I feel like this, how do you feel? I feel like this, how do you feel?
Yeah.
Like, and if I can't do that with a friend, then I can't have a friendship. Like, I can't have a relationship. I can't do those things because that's just where I am currently in my life. So I do now feel totally at peace with it, but I acknowledge the pain that is involved with,
do you feel
not
at
having
peace?
that friend.
Do you feel at peace with all of them?
Yeah. There's one, and I miss her company sometimes. And I miss, like, we used to have quite a lot of fun together. We used to come down to London and spend, like, do trips together. I was technically her, like, kid's unofficial godparent, so I spent a lot of time with her. So sometimes I miss that company.
About,
yeah. But also at peace with it too. Like, hope she's happy. Wish them all well.
I think that's the thing. Like, there's no ill wish towards any of these breakups. Like,
no,
you know, there's like a friend who we don't really speak anymore for lots of different reasons, but they're like, and I'm okay with it. Like, I never thought I would be. I thought I'd be like devastated if that did really happen, where there was a friend who, we were friends and now we aren't. It's not that we're not friends. We just don't, well, I guess we aren't friends, but like, I don't.
That's another one of your toxic traits. I am my best friend. Who's like, met him yesterday.
Oh God, yeah. Alex picks me up on this all the time. He's like, "Oh, your best friend from? Yeah. Your best friend from? What's that one? That one press trip you went on 8 years ago. Oh, your best friend from that trip."
I love Alex. Go back to So you're not friends. You're not friends. You're not actually friends.
I don't think she would class me as a friend, and I don't think I would say that we were friends anymore. But I also wish only good things for that person.
Yeah.
And I wish like her only happiness. And I think that the devastation I thought I would feel from that has been less, mainly because I'm like, you know what? If it doesn't serve you and it doesn't serve me, that's okay.
Yeah.
We can say that now. Like, time is precious. The older you get, the less time you have to spend with people, because fucking admin takes up 98% of your life.
Admin is so long.
We hate it. But that time matters.
I think the match has just hit, bro.
Oh God.
Yeah, time does matter.
And so what is the point? What is the point in spending time in situations you don't want to be in?
No.
There isn't a point anymore. And now,
protect your energy, bro.
You just tap out. Like, I now say no to so much more stuff than I ever used to say no to.
Yeah, you used to be so bad at that.
I hate it when you criticise me.
That's not a criticism, really. You used to be bad at saying no, and now you're really good at it. You just heard to hear the bad thing.
I'm better at it.
Yeah, you are.
I wouldn't
much
say
better.
good at it. I still feel like there's part of me that's like, should I just do this because it would please that person, or should I just do this because that's like the right thing to do?
Yeah.
As a people pleaser, do a whole episode on people pleasing.
Yeah, we should do an episode. There is a reason to people please.
Deep desire to be liked, wanted and needed.
Whereas I am so not fussed about not being liked.
Maybe that's because you have always felt liked.
No, I think I have a...
Hey, pause it. We'll skip that for another episode.
Yeah, all right, we'll park it. Park it.
You keep doing things and putting me off track.
Sorry. No, you were saying about time. Time's precious.
Time is precious. So yeah, only use it for people that you really want to.
You just got to be on a level.
So you know what's sometimes hard, though, is when, and right, this is what Josh Smith, who is, by the way, a great friend to all people, because...
Oh my God, I can't tell you how much I love Josh
He's
Smith.
also the top tier communicator, and if you haven't got his book, Great Chat, get his book, Great Chat, because it is fantastic.
His ability to be present in conversation with everyone and anyone is a skill.
He's a phenomenal listener.
Yeah, he is. That is what makes you a great communicator.
Yeah, but he's also really smart and just really good at advice.
I really like him.
We could do a whole episode on how much we love
Should we get Josh Smith on?
If you, yeah, let's do that.
Because we do want to do a couple of episodes, don't we, where we get guests, and I would love to have Josh on. He is one of my favourite people I've ever met in the industry.
Word in between you two. That's all right. I'm fine. I'm happy to be an observer on that epi. But he talks about like friendship tiers in his book. And he's like, you need to dedicate like the most amount of time to tier 1 friendships. tier 2 is like people that you have like a good time with, but you don't need to have like that constant emotional connection. And tier 3, like acquaintances.
Yeah. It's the understanding. It's being on the same page with where your friendship is. Like, I don't see all the time, but that doesn't change anything. Like, we know where we both are. Yeah. We know that we both love each other, and we both know we both know that we're there for we both know that we're there for each other if we need to be. And it's the understanding of like where you both are.
But maybe the problem does come where that's not clear on what tier you're into them and what tier they're into you. Like, what if, for example, what if you're my tier 1 and I'm your tier 2? What happens then?
Dove cookie?
Dove cookie.
Dove shit?
But that I think that could cause conflict in friendships. I think
that's inevitable. Like, for instance, if you said to me, Sash, I need to speak to you every single day in order to feel loved in this friendship, I would then have to say back to you, really sorry, Bills, I can't do that. That's just not going to serve me.
What's funny is that we do speak every day.
But you know what? That was just an example.
Yeah.
So if someone's like, oh, you never want to see me anymore, or you don't see me enough, you don't make enough effort, or if you can't make any more effort because your life is in other places, then maybe that will be a clash. But I think if there's communication there, then be all right.
I think like some people just need more like confirmation, affirmation that they are your friend and that you value them and that you need them. But like we said, time poor. But
life's hard enough, bro.
You did the communication thing is definitely something I've got better at, and I think that really like this friendship has helped me do that. Like that's
actually, like the nicest compliment ever, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
It's because I love you a lot most of the time.
DB's made me a better communicator.
Yeah.
So I think it like
trickles down.
Yeah, I think communication wasn't a thing for me growing up. It really wasn't. It was very difficult for everyone in my life to communicate.
Always just shout.
Yeah. So I think being in therapy often, well, every fucking week, and meeting someone who is an incredible communicator and has grown up in a very, very communicative household, it's really taught me a lot about it and like how beneficial that can be. And it's the same, it was the similar time of me and Shelb living together as well, like, because Shelb hates confrontation, hates conversation.
Can relate.
But now she kind of does see it a bit differently, and she's also like become a really good communicator because she's, I think, understanding that it's not about confrontation. Confrontation is like a word that makes me think of like anger and argument and drama. Communication is like a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit bum clenchy, but you have a hug afterwards and then it's fine.
100%. I think that sometimes the bit I struggle with in communicating how I feel is like, what if what I say hurts them? Or what if what I say is like, will make there a void between this friendship? Or what if what I say is like, should I just keep that to myself about how I'm feeling? Or like if they've said something that's hurt me or done something that's hurt me, do I have a right to say that? I think that's the bit that I struggle with, because it feels to me like I'm only thinking about myself.
But that's where the levels come in, I think. Like, you have to think about yourself. In order to be a great friend, you have to be a great person.
What did you put in the group the other day?
What did I say?
And then I called you a narcissistic egomaniac.
In it for ourselves, mate.
Yeah.
All out for number one.
Can't think about anybody else.
No, that's not what I said. But like, if you have a friend, if you're in a friendship and that person has done something to hurt you, and you're withholding that pain because you're worried that's going to hurt them back, like that's a really false friendship. Same way, like when me and DB have conversations, we might sort of preface a chat by saying there might be some really uncomfortable things for us to listen to what each other have to say, because that's how we feel. And we just have to understand that it's a safe space and we love each other, but we're going to have to say how we feel.
Yeah, and I think that's why this friendship has always been so special, because, well, maybe this is the question. Like, what would it take for me to do for this friendship to break?
Shag my husband, anything? Probably something like that.
Oh, I think you're safe there.
Yeah, like I don't think something could happen because the communication would be possible.
Yeah.
So
it made me laugh last week. Was it last week or even this week? Can't remember. But anyway, I was on the phone to you and then I was like, I think I've just lectured her on that entire phone call. And then I called you back 2 seconds later like, hey, I'm really sorry. Did that just sound like I was lecturing you? You're like, no, not at all. It's fine. Love you, bye. And then you did exactly the same thing. You said something and then you called me a minute later like, hey, did that come across like I was doing this? I was like, no, not at all.
Yeah.
Love you, bye.
Communication. Communication's key, bro.
Oh, should we put that on the merch?
Yeah, communication is key.
Yeah. I actually don't think I'm that argumentative.
Do ya?
What, like, give me an example when I am really
that's a whole other episode. Let's do a
but
fun
I don't-
question.
I don't. When you say I'm really argumentative, what do you? Like, I don't get it. What do you mean? Am I being argumentative?
Do you know what I mean?
If you had a pet parrot, what would you teach it to say first?
Your mum. Your mum. That's what my parrot would do.
That parrot would get shot after a day.
God, I could never have a pet parrot.
Well, why don't you read your ChatGPT?
My ChatGPT is probably the most
No, go on.
exposing thing
Go
of
on,
me.
read the top line. Go on, be brave. Tell the room what you've been Googling.
Just let me get to the bottom, right? Because there's a couple of really bad ones, right?
Shall I read it out for you? Give it here.
Yeah.
Right, welcome to Sasha's ChatGPT. I've seen this and it's so bad. Understanding rough sex preference. Funny Bob.
What?
Funny Bob haircut caption.
What?
This is why you can't read it.
Funny Bob haircut caption. Love.
No, let's let Daisy or Becky read them out.
Love and sexual pain. Sasha's fucking feral. Understanding love aggression. What is love aggression? Like, oh, I just love him. Goes from that. Fontaine his notes. Meat sauce adhesion tips.
I can't breathe.
Proud podcast season wrap.
That was my LinkedIn announcement.
Eye-catching thumbnail. Wow. Love and sexual pain really got me.
Okay, right. Let me just explain a couple of these.
No, I don't think we need to know.
No, love aggression is like sometimes I want to like headbutt.
You just made up a whole thing. Love aggression
No,
is
love
not
aggression
a thing.
it is a thing. What?
When you think something's so cute that you want to pop it.
How can you be so smart and so stupid at the same time?
so
Like,
creepy.
like I want to squeeze a little cheek.
Look at that face.
So me and DB have got this thing where like we pinch each other, like just because I love him so much.
So you want to pinch him, headbutt him,
And have sex with him.
right?
No, but and then I wanted to try and understand, like, you know, like
I'm not sure you can.
if people
understand
like
that.
rough sex, what's the reason for that? Like, are you traumatized, or is there a reason? Because to actually
This feels like a personal story.
this needs to come for a whole nother episode, and maybe we should get some actual
Experts on.
But I wanted to know to actually enjoy to have rough sex comes from safety, like feeling so safe with someone that you could have that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just very interested in the science behind it. To be honest, funny Bob, short Bob haircut captions, that's the most exposing for me.
Yeah,
I ain't afraid
what?
to say I love
You
rough
can't
sex, but
even-
I'm mortified to say I needed a caption help. Fucking hell.
Cut my hair off.
Come
It's
out.
fine.
Oh, I think I did like choppy layers, like a choppy.
I don't think my notes is that exposing.
Yeah, it's bad. But that was good. It's good fun. Got a lol.
What, ChatGPT?
Yeah. I do really like it.
I'm curious to know what half of those responses were. Anyway, that's for another day.
So have you never had love aggression in your life then?
No, I feel like I'm really fucking missing out. Someone was to squeeze me.
Yeah, you just did it. Love you, bye.
That'll be fine.
Love aggression isn't a real thing.